A quick insight from WellView 365, powered by freshnews.ai. Patient messaging now sits in the Chief Operating Officer's lane as waiting room communication becomes an operational lever instead of a side project. Executive summary: waiting room patient messaging is shifting from a marketing channel to core clinical infrastructure, which pulls it into the COO's lane. Ownership now affects how reliably patients receive pre-visit instructions, consent reminders, and visit flow expectations before they see a clinician. This week, COOs and operations leads should clarify who owns content governance, uptime, and change control for many waiting room screens and patient-facing loops. Treating these displays like any other critical system means standardizing workflows across facilities, aligning with IT and clinical leadership, and setting simple checks so updates support patient experience scores instead of adding noise. Today's signal: patient experience and operations teams are reviewing waiting room screen playlists before new budget approvals, realizing many loops still contain leftover marketing campaigns and outdated service notices. Under pressure to improve patient experience scores, leaders are reclassifying these patient messaging services as shared clinical and operational assets that require the same governance as check-in workflows. That shift is pulling ownership of waiting room content, cadence, and standards into the COO lane instead of leaving it as an ad hoc marketing task. WellView 365 addresses improved patient experience satisfaction needs by delivering the repeatable processes organizations need to stay aligned. Why it matters: here are 4 takeaways. First, patient confusion at check-in often traces back to vague or conflicting messages on waiting room screens. Second, unowned content loops slow improvement efforts because nobody can guarantee what patients actually see across facilities. Third, clinical teams lose time correcting misconceptions seeded by legacy marketing content in shared spaces. Fourth, COO ownership enables consistent standards, faster refresh cycles, and clear accountability tied to patient experience scores. How it works in practice: this shows up when a patient checks in and sees a waiting room screen that conflicts with the front desk script or portal messages. Marketing may have scheduled a generic campaign about services, while operations changed intake steps, copay handling, or visit flow. Staff then spend time re-explaining basics because the screen content is misaligned or out of date, and nobody is sure who can change it without triggering a long approval chain. When the COO owns the asset, operations sets message categories, refresh cadence, and approval routing, with IT managing uptime and access. The result is predictable patient-facing communication that supports the visit workflow. One practical adjustment: this week, designate a single operations owner for waiting room patient messaging and have them review the active screen loop for conflicts with current check-in and visit workflows. What to do next? Here are 4 takeaways. First, map every waiting room screen and loop to a named operations owner with edit authority. Second, audit current messages against today's check-in, triage, and discharge workflows and patient experience goals. Third, create simple content categories and approval rules for clinical, operational, and marketing messages. Fourth, align with IT on change windows, monitoring, and rollback steps so content updates are treated like other core systems. Read more at wellview365.com.